attractions set for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Introducing first, accompanied to the ring by his #1 ginger, Wildfire. He is from the wild side weighing in, and none of your freaking business. Ladies and gentlemen, volatile Curtis Wylde. And his opponent makes his way to us from St. Louis, Missouri. He weighs in at 220 pounds, the wrestling machine, Dave Vaugh. Your referee is Nick Rhino.
A battle of former tag team partners here as volatile Curtis Wylde will meet the unpredictable, the unstable Dave Vaugh, a man who, despite being unstable, seems to be very loved by these fans, or maybe because he's unstable, I'm not sure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this matchup getting ready to start. It is Dave Vaugh going by his old moniker, the Wrestling Machine, taking on a recent rival of his, a former friend, returned rival, the volatile Curtis Wylde.
It's incredible how much things change in a couple of weeks here at SICW. One of the last times I came here, everybody hated Vaugh. And now, did you see the reaction? Did you see how much the people love just to see him come out of the curtains? It's incredible.
Oh, they do love him. I think they identify with him in a certain way because while Dave Vaugh is a tremendous athlete and a tremendous wrestler, his elevator does not go all the way to the top floor. And I think the fans here in TCCW, I think they identify with that because that's a case in a lot of their lives.
Well, I don't think that's it at all, Travis. Dave Vaugh has been wrestling in front of this audience and the St. Louis audience for well over a decade. So the warm reception comes from people who I think always expected that side of Dave. They knew he had it in him, but Dave Vaugh, in recent history here in SICW or TCCW.
That's better.
We saw him, of course, return under the tutelage of Big Daddy. That didn't quite work out. He was then, these last few months, rolling with the wild side of Wildfire and Volatile Curtis. But it was about 2 months ago, Dave Vaugh suffered a concussion here. It is since he returned from that injury, he and Curtis were not quite on the same page, which led to Curtis and Wildfire sort of pulling a Pearl Harbor on the former unstable one, Dave Vaugh, who is, like I said, returned to his Wrestling Machine moniker, and here we see a little bit of where that came from.
Well, you know, I am an expert on tag team wrestling. I've managed a lot of great tag teams over the years, managed a lot of tag team champions, and I can tell you there's a lot of reasons why tag teams can break up. One of the key reasons tag teams can... Whoa!
Look
What's he
out.
doing?
Hey, don't...
Bruce, stand in front of me!
Yeah, don't stand here.
It's incredible.
Not in front of
That was
us.
a smart move on Curtis Wylde's part. What incoming?
Dave Vaugh sending himself up and over the top. And you heard it wrestling, says Dave Vaugh.
What I was saying before a 230-pound man tried to jump on me was that there's a lot of reasons that tag teams break up. One of the key reasons is when one of the teammates isn't holding up his end of the bargain and makes a lot of mistakes and gets injured by his own mistakes and things like that. That's what happened to the Dave Vaugh-Curtis Wylde tag team. Dave Vaugh was not upholding his end of the bargain. Curtis Wylde had to carry the team, win all the matches. He was getting mad about it. Wildfire was getting upset about it. You don't want to cross her, and that's why this explosion happened.
Well, you might know a little bit about that personally, of course, because what happened to the once relationship between yourself and Ken Casa, who you are now on opposite sides of, that same thing you said sort of applied there in your mind. I think you saw Ken Casa's usefulness. He got injured. He had that knee injury, which sent him out for many, many months due to your and Hargis' attack on Casa.
Well, as with what happens in any professional sport, sometimes when a piece of talent has gone past their effectiveness, you got to let him go. You got to get rid of him. When the Rams were here in town, they traded Sam Bradford when he was of no use to them anymore. Ken Casa was of no use to me anymore. I got rid of him. I brought in Chris Hargis, who became better, stronger, and faster, and the heavyweight champion, which he's going to regain tonight. And it was a smart maneuver on my part. Bill Belichick does it all the time.
Very good. Now, this is something you're very familiar with, Dave Vaugh. I know you're back at our sister promotion over at the South Broadway Athletic Club. He was part of the Travis Cook organization many years ago.
He was at one time. I tried to do my best to bring him along. Again, he's got great athletic talent. I've seen that from day one. But sometimes he needs to be guided a little bit, and I gave him that wonderful guidance that only I can give, and he was experienced among the most success he's ever had in his life during that period. But you get to a point where some people just won't listen or can't process the level of coaching and criticism you're giving them, and you just got to part ways. That's what happened with Dave Vaugh. And I think the same thing happened with Curtis Wylde and Wildfire. They were trying to guide him as well. They were trying to give him constructive criticism and coaching, but he's just uncoachable.
I actually think that he actually woke up from everything that you guys were doing to him. I actually think that he woke up. He finally saw the light. He finally saw the truth of what you're trying to do with guys like him or with guys like Hargis. It's the same thing that is going to happen when Hargis finally realizes that he doesn't need you to be where he is. That he's talented. He's a great wrestler. He doesn't need Travis Cook to be where he is.
Does Dave Vaugh look like the type of man who looks woke up to you?
5 minutes down, 15 minutes left.
And Chris Hargis, you must say, and he's a great athlete, but he is experiencing right now. Whoa! There's a nice right hand to the abdominal area.
Well,
Beautiful wrestling maneuver.
that hit a little somewhere else from where I was standing. I think that was a blatant low blow.
It was to the lower abdominals.
Fair enough. Now, Curtis Wylde reminds me of someone that would be after your heart, Mr. Cook, even though you two have not worked together in any way that I know of. Very similar tactics. I could see you two sharing a cigar over a game of poker.
Actually, I think there's more similitude against him and Wildfire. Did you see what she just did?
Well, you know, I'm not going to say that she and I are kindred spirits, but we may have a few things in common. Who knows? But
yeah, you both like to cheat.
Curtis Wylde is a good wrestler who will do whatever it takes to win. I'm not saying he's Travis Cook organization material, but really not too many people are. I mean, Ricky Cruz thought he was for a while, and that didn't work out. So it's a very high bar to be in the Travis Cook organization.
Let's try to keep this civil here, folks. We're here to do a job.
And now it's Dave Vaugh on the floor. Maybe it'll be Curtis Wylde who takes the big dive on him this time, because he's fully capable of doing it, you know.
Now, Travis, once upon a time, you were sort of the devil on Dave Vaughn's shoulder. Ricky, you were the opposite. I know once upon a time when you first arrived here in the Midwest, you took a few guys sort of under your wing and were having them travel around and teaching them some of the secrets that you knew. Oh!
Like how to take a DDT?
Well, not quite that, but let's see. 1-2. Vaughn out at 2. What was it about Dave Vaugh that caught your eye when you first arrived here on the scene?
The fact that people call him the wrestling machine, it's not just being a compliment. This kid, when he trains like no other. He learns so quickly, and he loves to learn. It doesn't matter if we train an hour or 17 hours. He will not quit. I did a seminar. Me and Delirious did a seminar of wrestlers. There was 20 wrestlers at the beginning of the seminar. After the first hour, Dave Vaugh was vomiting. He cleaned his mouth, washed his mouth, came back to the ring, and finished the whole seminar. There was only 3 people at the end of that seminar. This is why he should not only be called the wrestling machine, but he's going to become one of the greatest wrestlers in the Midwest.
Hey, and there you go. Nice trip, and then he spun around to that front face lock.
May I interject here? Just a point of professional development for you, Ricky Cruz. I know you're doing your best to be a good color commentator. You're trying to learn from me, and I appreciate that. But generally speaking, vomit stories do not make for good television. I would avoid that in the future if I were you, if you still want to be employed by Travis Cook Championship Wrestling.
That's the first thing, the smart thing that you said. I don't want to be hired by your organization. What is it? What's the name?
TCCW. And if you don't want to be employed,
TCCW.
You can leave. I'll keep the money we were going to pay you tonight.
As long as I see that sign that says SICW in front of that ring, I'll be here.
Did you see that? Another kick to the breadbasket. And to beauty, the flat of the foot, right in the stomach. Perfectly legal.
And you can tell Dave Vaugh bearing the brunt of this attack. He has contusions on his elbow. You can see
this
on
is what I mean. This is what I mean. This is why her and you are so similar. You have to prepare to wrestle not only one guy, but then.
Well, she was protecting herself. She was protecting. Dave Vaugh was out there trying to ask for her phone number, that pervert, and she had to protect herself. I can't blame her for that.
We appreciate your patience while Travis Cook is here with us on
Who does he
commentary.
think he is? Harvey Weinstein? Enziguri out of desperation by Dave Vaugh.
Enziguri.
That's what I said.
What did you say?
Enziguri.
Oh, I forgot. Last show.
Japanese for kick to the back of the head.
Last show, he said that he speaks fluent Japanese.
I do. And Enziguri is a Japanese word.
And
it
I
means
asked
kick
him,
to the back of the head.
And I asked him, since you know Japanese, how do you say SpongeBob in Japanese?
They don't recognize him over there because they have classy television programming, unlike here in the States.
Well,
On back to his feet.
You hear these fans, the East Carondelet faithful, sending Dave their energy, saying, let's go Vaughn, let's go Vaughn. We'll see if it works. These two have been battling tooth and nail for almost 10 minutes.
Tremendous move in the corner of Dave Vaugh. He grabs him finally in the sunset flip. The ref kicks the hands of one.
I think that's it.
Oh, man.
Now,
he
what right
almost
did
got
the
him.
referee have to do that? Curtis Wylde has every option to grab the rope to force a break. There's a spine buster. Covers him. Oh, he almost had him.
Barely out at 2.
You can see the desperation on Wildfire's face in the outside of the ring. She can't believe that it was only a 2 count.
10 minutes down, 10 minutes left.
Both men are very evenly matched here. And you can see the desperation on Wildfire's face and the horror on her face as well as Dave Vaugh asked for her phone number earlier in the match. But both men getting back to their feet.
You see it, folks. Dave Vaughan siphoning the energy that he can from this audience here. Wildfire trying to send support to her man. He's dropped by one clothesline. A leg kick.
That's a savate kick, by the way. Underneath. Grabs the head into a neck breaker.
Swinging net breaker. Tremendous. 1, 2. 2 count.
But he got that shoulder up. You've got to crimp that head. You got to Nelson the head to keep that from happening. That's one of the lessons I always tried to teach Dave Vaugh, but sometimes he wouldn't remember it. Now he's saying in that corner, what is this? Sometimes they'll get in that corner. Oh!
Nobody home.
I think Wylde outsmarted him there. He got out of the position that Vaugh anticipated he would be in.
Curtis Wylde, he's eyeing him up.
Oh!
Dropping him with the Wild Ride.
2, 3.
For the 3.
I am not going to say anything. I am going to. You know what? He won the match.
Yes,
Let's
he
give him
did.
that.
He won it fair and square, a fine wrestling
Fair and
match.
square. See, I'm trying to be civil here. I said he won the match.
Great win for Curtis Wylde, climbing the ranks here in Travis Cook Championship Wrestling.
Wrestling fans, it's SICW Christmas Clash, December the 9th in the East Carondelet Community Center with a bell time of 7 p.m. The Classic Wrestling Championship is on the line as the Iron Man Ken Casa defends against volatile Curtis Wylde. Plus, Flash Flanagan versus Cowboy Mark Houston and the one and only Santa Claus will be in attendance. Reserve your seats at 618-286-4848. That's 618-286-4848.